The Crane Wife. Kaito was a young man who lived a simple life in a small village nestled among snow-capped mountains. He was a woodcutter, and though his days were long and hard, he was content. He found peace in the quiet rhythm of the forest, the whisper of the wind through the pines, and the soft blanket of snow that covered the world in winter. One cold afternoon, Kaito was deep in the woods when he heard a faint cry. He followed the sound and found a magnificent crane, its leg caught in a hunter's snare. Its wings beat against the air in a desperate struggle. Kaito's heart ached for the beautiful creature. He carefully and gently worked to free the crane, and when it was finally loose, it took to the sky with a grateful cry, a flash of white against the gray sky. Days turned into weeks, and Kaito thought little of the crane until a blizzard descended upon the village. As the wind howled and snow piled against his door, there was a soft knock. When he opened it, a young woman stood shivering on his porch. Her face was pale, her hair like midnight, and her eyes held a quiet wisdom. Kaito, remembering his own kindness, welcomed her in and offered her a warm place by the fire. She introduced herself as Ren. They talked for hours, sharing stories of their lives, and Kaito felt a connection he had never known. Her presence filled his small home with a warmth that had nothing to do with the fire. In the weeks that followed, their bond grew into a deep and abiding love. They married, and Ren told Kaito she could help them. She asked for a small, private room and a loom, and made him promise he would never, ever look inside while she was working. Kaito, blinded by love, readily agreed. Ren began to weave. She worked for days, and Kaito heard the rhythmic clack of the loom. When she finally emerged, she presented him with a piece of cloth so beautiful and shimmering it seemed to be woven from moonlight itself. Kaito sold it for a fortune, and soon they were no longer poor. But with wealth came a new kind of hunger. Kaito became obsessed with getting more and more. He began to pressure Ren, urging her to weave faster, to make more cloth. Her face grew pale and tired, and her eyes held a sadness he couldn't quite understand. One day, his greed overcame his promise. He couldn't stand the mystery any longer, the secret she kept from him. He crept to the door of the weaving room and, with a trembling hand, pushed it open just enough to peek inside. He saw not a woman, but the crane he had rescued, plucking shimmering feathers from its own body to weave into the cloth. The sight filled him with horror and shame. He had broken his promise and betrayed her love, and now he understood the cost of her gift. Ren, now in her human form, stood before him, her face filled with sorrow. She explained that she could not stay, for he had seen her secret. She thanked him for his kindness, but said goodbye forever. She transformed into a crane and flew away, leaving him alone with his regret, a man who had traded true love for a pile of gold.